I'm already gonna cry. So I just had my 1-year cancer anniversary this past weekend, so it's still pretty fresh. In the moment that I found out, I remember that. It's funny because my mind went blank, but at the same time I had so many emotions and thoughts going on, even though my mind felt blank. As soon as I kind of came to, I was just in disbelief. I had a lot of anger, and then I had so much sadness and heartbreak wash over me because I thought about how am I going to tell my husband and my family that I have cancer. You know, no one wants to tell their loved ones that they have cancer.
I was originally going in for something else, and that's when the doctor asked me, he said, you have a bump or something here, not under your neck. Let's check that out. What is that? And I wasn't quite sure, so I was kind of surprised when he said, well, you know what, let's do a biopsy. So the biopsy led to, that led to the biopsy. The biopsy led to another test that they had to run. So that's when I found out I had stage 3 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
The next 2 weeks, it was just a lot of anger, a big emotional roller coaster, waiting to get a plan in place. It was also a pretty isolating time. It's just, I felt like everyone around me, their lives kept moving. People were having babies, people were going on trips, and here I was, and my life was just on pause, and I didn't know what was gonna happen. So it was a pretty emotional time.
So I can remember like it was yesterday, about 10 to 15 years ago, my father called me on the phone, and he told me that my mom had just got word back from their doctor that my mom's breast was in fact had some cancerous cells in it.
Well, my own family has a history of cancer. So my mom's side of the family throughout my life has had incidents of cancer. My mother is a breast cancer survivor, and my aunt is an ovarian and uterine cancer survivor. And when I was in high school, my grandmother died of breast cancer, and my great-grandmother, just a few years later, died of ovarian cancer. So it really hit home for me that I needed to do something to take action against this disease so that I could prevent it for myself. And in doing that, I wanted to give back to others what I had learned, to be able to help them reduce their risk and potentially prevent this disease as well.
So with the chemotherapy, a little nervous about it, because of course the first thing that you understand and realize, am I gonna lose my hair? As a woman, you know, that's kind of the first thing that you ask. Because that's something, you know, women we take pride in for our hair.
During radiation, the first couple of weeks, I had a 4-week course. The first probably 3 weeks, I felt pretty normal. Everything hit the last week, and I became very fatigued. I was always tired, and it continued probably for about a month after treatment ended. I was just very low energy, and I was trying to work and keep up with my workouts because my goal was to keep my life as normal as possible, kind of try to ignore the fact that I had cancer. But it was just, for me, the main side effect that I had to deal with was a lot of fatigue.
And I remember thinking, you know, wow, what an uphill battle this might be, and really watching her go through the treatment of radiation and chemotherapy, and really watching her health start to fight that cancer was really eye-opening to me. I was actually staying with my parents at that time. My wife and I were between homes, and so we had a front row seat to her battle of cancer. And so I remember very vividly her coming home and watching her hair fall out and watching her lose the weight, and really watching this lady who was full of energy really lose some of that. And I'll never forget looking at her. I was standing in the kitchen looking at the couch and really just looking at her and her inability to even look and make eye contact with me, because she was so weak and was so unable to really do some of the basic things that we take for granted every day. And I remember just thinking to myself, I wish there was something I could do. I wish there was something that I could help her with.
So from Friday, doing it that Friday afternoon, to Monday was my time to recruit from doing the chemo. So it kind of made me sick, nauseous. Of course, you know, everybody goes through that, but it was kind of also tiring as well.
You know, when you're right in the thick of things, you're only focused on what it's doing to you. And now that I'm a little past the treatment and more of the emotional stuff, I can look back and I'm like, this really did have a big impact on my family. Like, I mean, bless my husband's heart. He had to take a brunt of the emotional roller coaster. You know, when I was tired, he picked up the household chores. You know, he was pretty much doing everything he normally does, plus what I do to help me out. And then, you know, my parents would come up every time I had an appointment, and, you know, it's just an emotional toll on everyone around you.
Sure.
And so I did the only thing I knew to do, which was really look into the literature and look into the research and find out what can we possibly do to help my mom really not only beat cancer, but more importantly, improve her health on the back end. And so as we looked into the literature and as we looked into the things that really we felt were important, we found that nutrition played a huge role in helping her body heal. And so we really, in addition to the traditional and conventional treatment, we found that putting a plan of action when it came to making sure that she was getting the right nutrients and the right vitamins, and certainly supporting her from a nutrition side, played dividends in her recovery. And I'm proud to say not only is she cancer-free today, but she's healthier now than she ever was prior to getting cancer because some of the nutritional things that she learned and implemented.
For us, it was a question of, how can we change our diet to become even healthier? Like, how can we use what I'm putting in my body as an arsenal, you know, to fight the cancer that's in me, to help me get through treatment as strongly as possible, and then what can we do after treatment to help prevent a recurrence? So it took a lot of time to do a lot of research and reading to try to figure out, you know, what we should be eating, how we should be preparing the food.
Specifically, in my case, I specialize in weight loss, hormone balancing, and cancer prevention and recovery. And I work with people to help them have a healthy diet and lifestyle that works specifically for them and their health goals. So in the case of cancer survivors, their goal is to reduce their risk of a recurrence and to feel better after they have been through treatment. You know, I work with people after they have been through a cancer treatment, and they often feel depleted and exhausted, and they're really wondering, what do they do now? And so I work with them to really focus on a healthy lifestyle, not only eating well, but also sleeping well, and reducing stress and exercising, and really focusing on the whole body and what we can do to be healthier and happier.
With me, I think as soon as I finished with the chemotherapy, I binge ate. Whatever craving I had for that particular, after that session, I binged on it. Fast food, not healthy foods. But once I, got through it, started learning, my body and everything, it was kind of hard in the beginning, but I then learned to adapt to a healthy lifestyle eating.
I think it helped that my husband is very nutrition oriented. because he did a lot of that research for me because I was tired. It was important to us because the nutrients that you're putting in your body and the quality of food that you're eating has a really big impact on your health. And I was in the fight for my life, so we wanted to do everything possible to give myself the best chance to get through this and to hopefully have a very long life.
Eating healthy is so important for everyone. It really is important for all of us to have a healthy and well body. But when we are thinking about someone who has been through cancer, their immune system is depleted, and there's so much that a healthy diet and lifestyle can do to help them boost their immune system, to reduce inflammation, which can lead to cancer, to give them key nutrients that their body needs, and so many different things that really help them reduce their risk in the long term and help them feel better in the near term, so that they feel like they're their best version of themselves that they can be.
Yes, most definitely. Because one, like I said, because of the way that I chose to do the chemotherapy, I did it on a Friday. I had the weekend to recuperate. I was tired, sluggish, didn't really have time to prepare healthy meals or, for me or my daughter. So yes, it would have definitely been easy. It would have definitely been a plus and helpful.
I would say probably so. I had friends who offered, to make meals, and I never took them up on it because knowing how I ate and the quality of food I wanted to eat, I didn't feel comfortable going to my friends and saying, yes, I'd love for you to make me dinner, but can you meet all these strict guidelines that I'm trying to follow? So it really just fell onto, my husband and myself to keep the quality food where we wanted and to prepare everything. So I know on our end, it would have definitely been helpful to have a really healthy option to turn to when we were really tired and needed help.
It kind of goes back to when you're going through something like that, you kind of want to get it out your system. So healthy eating, drinking your water, making sure you do different things, it does help.
What's very clear to me when I interact with patients who have been doing a good job with their nutrition and those that have not. We often talk about how food and what food really is, and in our opinion, food is fuel. Our cells require certain minerals and vitamins and nutrients, and the food choices that we make are the delivery system for those nutrients. And so when we have foods that are rich and dense and full of those vitamins, our cells are able to use those things, and our cells are able to thrive on those things. And when we eat foods that unfortunately just don't have some of those things, or are laden with maybe some of the artificial ingredients or too much sugar, well, the cells, they just don't know how to react and respond. And so when we watch or when we work with individuals who maybe are getting a diet that's not rich in those fruits and vegetables, their energy levels are certainly less. Their ability to heal and recover seems to take a lot longer than those individuals who are really impacting their health with positive nutrition.
I think that meal delivery for cancer survivors is such an incredible benefit, because not only do they not have to think about what are the right foods for me to eat and what is the right nutrition for my body, they just get that automatically delivered to them, but they also are exhausted and tired and depleted, and they don't feel like cooking. And so having nourishing foods available that they don't have to work to prepare, what an incredible benefit. I think that is amazing that this program is being put into existence.